Kia ora and welcome to the Australian contingent to illuminate 2019, the 14th New Zealand Venture O-Day. We're about to get started, so please take your seats. While you're getting comfy, think about some of the questions you might have for the AusCon team. Hopefully most of them will be covered by the presentation, but if not, today's your chance to have them answered. Here are the answers to some of the questions about New Zealand that we know you all had. There are no land snakes, native or introduced, in New Zealand. New Zealand has 3 official languages: English, Māori and New Zealand Sign Language. 15% of New Zealand's population are Māori. New Zealand is home to the giant weta, the heaviest insect in the world. It is heavier than a sparrow and looks like a giant cockroach, but they're kind of cute. The logo for the Royal New Zealand Air Force is a kiwi, a flightless bird. There is a giant carnivorous snail living in the South Island. And there are more vending machines in Japan than there are people in New Zealand. Now that you're settled in, please remember to turn your mobiles to silent. Better yet, turn them off. Thanks for coming along today. Enjoy the presentation, get excited for your trip to the land of the long white cloud, and see you in December. Haere.
Alrighty, we've got the last few people dribbling in at the moment, but we'll get cracking. Obviously, you're here for the orientation day, so welcome. This is a bit of an agenda we're going to go through today. So if you've got any questions around that, hopefully we'll cover them off. We'll keep our questions to the end if possible, because as I said, hopefully most of them will be answered throughout the day. As the announcement said, please turn your phones to silent, if not off. Hold questions to the end, and the toilets are out this door and to the right, and then emergency exits either side, and then out the doors immediately there. I feel like a flight attendant.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. All right, your contingent kit, which some of you will have already picked up today, you should have 2 contingent polos, which are the gorgeous purple ones that a few people are rocking already. You've got your luggage tags and your luggage loops, 2 of those. Name badge, ta-da. 2 Australian international scarves that now look like this. 1 contingent badge, so the other one should have been sent with your flight details earlier, but we'll get to that. A jacket if ordered, which is the gorgeous orange ones, and then any other merch you may have ordered, so additional badges or shirts or things. So just to clarify, you will already have, or you should have, 2 badges. 1 was sent to you earlier, and 1 you would have got today. Additional badges are on top of those, okay? What else does it say here for gear? If you do need to address your sizing, swap amongst yourselves today if possible, okay? So that goes for the shirts and things, jackets as well, so try and swap amongst everyone today. That makes it a lot easier. We may have some stuff, very minimal numbers of stuff at the venture itself to swap, but we need you to do most of the footwork here. And then tent. Tent is a huge one. If you have no tent on the slip of paper, you've not ordered a tent. So unless you want to sleep out under the stars for 3 weeks, you need to organise a tent pretty quickly, okay? Okay, meet the team, most of whom are around the room somewhere today. In the corner over here, most of them are. We're a pretty friendly bunch. Come and say g'day. Come and introduce yourselves. We want to hear from you. We like talking to you, so come and say hello. Allow me to introduce the wonderful Rick. He is our contingent leader. He's a venture leader here in Victoria, has quite extensive experience around ventures, particularly New Zealand ventures, but also threw his hat in the ring for the welfare role in Iceland for the Moot last year. My name is Lisa. I'm the Deputy Contingent Leader and the State Commissioner International for Victoria. So, yeah, not my first rodeo, but glad to be here with you. A lot of experience with New Zealand as well in a more remote capacity, but as you can see there, I also had a bit of experience at Cantersteg International Scout Centre where I was the reception manager for about a year, and that trickled into the 2016 KISK trip as well, so lots of experience there. We have our 2 wonderful assistant contingent leaders, Taz, who is here today, and Kate, who is based out of New South Wales. So you'll meet her when we get to New Zealand. We have Sharon and Rod. They're also down the front, hanging around at the end to answer any questions you have regarding welfare as well. But super experienced, super friendly. They want to meet you all, so go and say hello. We have Dave, our program manager, who has moved somewhere. Oh, there he is. There he is. He's been looking after your pre and post activities. We'll come back to that later. And Mike is our adult support manager. He's there to make sure the leaders are all cool, calm and collected. Hugh is our operations manager. He's hiding in the corner over there. And then we have Kuzi. They're our details guys. We love them dearly because we would be in trouble without them, I'll tell you that much. Fiona and Claire are covering off our admin roles. Fiona has helped us while we've been in Australia, whereas Claire is floating around out. Yeah, she's out there. She's repping the purple shirt to show you what it looks like. So go and say hello to Claire. She'll be our admin when we're actually in New Zealand. We've got John and Stephen looking after the IT, so we'll touch on that later, but they're helping us out with that sort of stuff. And then we've got Bob, the catering manager, and Libby, who might have been in touch around financial matters. They're not here today. Bob is from South Australia and Libby is otherwise engaged. Gary is helping us on post day, and then we have Ross, who's helping us with some of the catering as well. Give us a wave, Ross. There he is. So if you've got any dietary requirements, guys, Ross is your man, okay?
A few seats over there, guys. Up
come right through. Cool. So the stats. That's what we look like, roughly. Pretty good. Just under 300 doing the pre-tour. Got a good mix of leaders and venturers, so we're pretty happy with that. And then pretty happy with the breakdown across male and female as well. We are a pretty national contingent. As you've seen, we did miss out on Northern Territory, but we'll get them next time.
Some seats up there.
All right, the venture. What is the venture and where is the venture? So, for those of you who aren't aware, New Zealand Venture is the major national event for venturing in New Zealand. We are guests. We are being invited to their event. And we're going to share the campsite with obviously the Kiwis, some Canadians, some people from the UK and some of our Asia Pacific friends as well. And that's the 11 days in the middle of the trip. So that's the bit the Kiwis look after. That's our campsite / the town's sport centre. The town is called Kaiawaka, which is not a bad one for Kiwi names. We're pretty glad we can pronounce that one. And it's in an area of New Zealand called Northland, they say. And it's about 120 k's or an hour 45 from Auckland. That's where it is. Not quite right up the top, but certainly getting there. All right, the fun stuff. Ta-da! Strap yourself in.
Can we just go back to that photo?
Oh,
Top right?
My gosh.
Who's that?
It's Kuzi.
We are
I am
now.
Yeah. All right, so the venture is broken down into 4 key parts. If you were doing pre-tour, that's with us, the Aussies. 4 days, Queenstown, adrenaline junkies. Yes, let's do it. Phase 1 of the venture is the first bit of the Kiwi organised bit. Okay, so once we hit venture, we slide into the New Zealand structure. And we will be there to help you, but they're running the show, okay? Phase 2 is the same. So expeditions, you'll go off-site and do all your fun stuff, whether that's diving or surfing or cooking or whatever it is. Phase 2, you come back on-site, everyone's there together, and you'll do those fun activities, again, organised by the Kiwis. Then, when we leave venture on the 11th, you're back with us. It's just the Aussies. And that's for 4 days in Rotorua, okay? What to bring? So we had a suggested gear list in newsletter 4, but the Kiwis have also overnight announced their gear list via their Facebook page. So have a little look at that. We're not anticipating too many differences. The key thing to note here is your expeditions may require additional bits and pieces. So whether that's, a hike pack or You know, if you're doing caving or diving, you might need some of the booty things, whatever it is. Touch base with your unit leaders and your expedition managers. They'll be able to help you with that. Okay, pre-tour and post-stay accommodation. All accommodation across the entire trip is single gender. If you're found in a tent or a room that you shouldn't be in, there are ramifications. You're all smart enough to know what that means. Do not swap rooms, because if we do need to find you and you're not in the room we allocated you, we've got to wake up 1 million people until we find you. So please, 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 stay in the room you're allocated, stay in the tent you're allocated, makes life a heap easier. Activity waivers. So, pre and post stay, so remember the two bits that the Australians are looking after, those waivers are overdue by a long shot. If you have not submitted them, or there was something wrong with them and you've been asked to resubmit them, you need to do that quick. Yesterday, last week, last month would have been preferable, but as soon as possible. Okay? It comes down to the fact that if you're wanting to do an activity and you don't have the right waiver correctly uploaded and correctly filled out, you won't be able to do that activity. You simply just won't be able to do it. So please sort it out. Missing an activity. Visit admin as soon as possible. There'll be a little map so you know where admin is, but please let them know. Unfortunately, we're not able to offer refunds unless the activity is cancelled due to weather. We will attempt to arrange the activity for another day so you can still do it, or a refund will be issued. Okay? Keys. So most of you, most of you will be issued with a key/swipe card to your rooms for pre and post. If you lose that, that's on you. Fair warning. So just don't lose it and you won't have to worry. Meals. So we are fully catered by commercial caterers, which is great. Our catering team are liaising with those guys on the ground. Special diets are covered off. As I said, they're sitting with Ross. So make sure that what's in your applications is current and up to date, so we can make sure that you actually have food you can/are allowed to eat. Probably one of the most exciting things about having it fully catered is that you won't need a dilly bag. So you don't have to worry about getting that in your bags unless your expedition specifically says you need one. Okay, so make sure you check your expedition list. Clothes washing. In Queenstown and Rotorua, we actually for the whole event, please wash. Please, 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 please. Both yourself and your clothes, okay? We will be providing washing powder, so don't worry about that. You will need a couple of dollars just to pop in the machine to get it going, and we would recommend that you do a full load. So grab your unit, grab some mates, pop all your washing in together. Doesn't cost you as much, and we do nice big loads all together, so it's environmentally friendly as well. And you guys have got people to hang out with while you're waiting for your washing to be done. So please, 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 wash often, both yourself and your clothes, and we'll all be happy. Pre-tour activities. So this is all the fun stuff that you guys have already signed up for, if you're doing pre-tour, of course. So nothing too exciting, nothing revolutionary there. That should all be covered off. This is what our pre-tour accommodation looks like. It's a place called Pinewood, and it's dorm-style accommodation. So think school camp kind of situation. Yeah, it's very pretty, very nice. Just out of Queenstown, so just up on the hill there. As I said, called Pinewood Lodge. There's rooms that'll have 2 people in them. There's rooms that'll have 10 people in them. It's quite a large site. For Milford Sound, if you're going on that activity, it'll be similar style accommodations. I think dorm rooms, kind of school camp style. But the exciting thing is everyone will have a bed for pre-tour. So, woohoo! All right, so once we're finished with pre-tour, we're going to pack up all our gear. Those of us who are in Queenstown are going to fly up to Auckland. Those of us who aren't doing pre-tour are going to fly into Auckland, and we're all going to bus up to Kaiwaka on the 31st of December. So that's via bus. As your flight comes in, if you're on pre, you'll jump on a bus, and as your flight comes in from Oz, you'll get allocated to a bus and off you go. Arriving, so you will check in to Venture, you'll get your ID card, and you'll meet your unit. Opening ceremony will be that night, followed by the New Year's Eve party around the world. We'll touch on themes later, but the Kiwis do like a themed party, so start getting some ideas flowing. The next morning, you're straight off on expeditions. So January 1st, wake up, off you go. No one will be on site because you're all doing wonderful, exciting opportunities elsewhere. Again, accommodations, single gender tents, expedition units are going to have their own little sections on site, on the campsite. Now, tent sharing, we really, 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 really recommend having your own tent. So if you do want to share a tent, you need to make sure they're in that same expedition unit as you, because otherwise one of you is going to have a tent and one of you is not. You're going to be in different directions. And it must be with a venturer of the same gender. But we really recommend having your own tent, simply because after 2 weeks or nearly 3 weeks of sharing a tent, it's going to be tough even if you love the person dearly. Okay, so please, please, please make sure you have your own tent. It's better for everyone's sanity. Phase 1 expedition. So this is the Kiwi bit. We've arrived. We've all slotted in under the Kiwi system. This is their bit. 4 nights, 5 days, away from the site, all over the Upper North Island, doing all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So the expeditions will all have contact with the organising team, so we're not just sending you out into the wilderness. Don't panic, Mum and Dad. However, mobile coverage is a bit sketchy, okay? We cover this off a little bit later, but we have sat phones and things that we can keep in touch, but mobiles won't always have reception. Excess gear can be stored at the site, so obviously if you are doing a hiking expedition, you don't want to have to take your big wheelie bag and all that sort of stuff. We will be able to look after that on site for you, okay? As we touched on before with the gear list, you'll just have to check that if there's any special bits and pieces you need to bring, but we'd actually really encourage you to work with the Kiwis in your unit and see if they can just bring additional gear. So if it's something like, you know, a camp stove, or someone told us the other day a machete, we were like, don't try and take a machete. Please, please, please do not do that. Work with the Kiwi team to see if they can bring an extra machete. So just keep in mind, work with your unit, guys. Make sure that everyone's covered. If you can share gear, whatever the story is. Hike packs are a little different. We're happy to put those in the contingent excess luggage, but they have to fill the requirements there. They must be empty, all straps and buckles and things tied up tight and strapped in, clearly marked. Make sure we know it's yours, and then we will cover it in the contingent excess luggage, but it has to be packed, nice, sealed, neatly, ready to go, okay? Expeditions and Awards Scheme. I know all of you are working on your Queen Scouts. Yes. So if you're thinking about your dive expedition and thinking, oh, that'd be a really good thing, I should do that for my Queen Scout, you need to sort that out now, because there's not going to be an opportunity on the trip to have that noted down. So make sure it's all signed off, make sure everyone knows what you're doing, what the plan is, get organised, do it early, okay? Meals. So phase 1, good chance you're all going to cook your own meals on phase 1, because obviously you're off doing different things. You know, the hike groups might all go to a supermarket and grab food as a group and then cook it as a group. But on phase 2, again, we're fully catered for. So unless your expedition says otherwise, you don't need to bring a dilly bag. But again, check. Phase 2, so you're back. Oh no, phase 2, we're still with the New Zealanders. Still with the New Zealanders. On-site and off-site activities around the venture site. So some will be on-site, some you might have to take a short bus ride or something like that. To secure those activities, you should have your waiver forms in and your payments made. That was made via the phase 2 tab on your applications. Okay, and that's done and dusted now. So we are aware that there are a few issues with the waivers still from the New Zealand side. But just keep your eye on that, that tab, and we're hoping that that will sort itself out sooner rather than later. We'd also encourage you, it's a really good chance for some downtime. You know, hang out with your new friends, take a nap, take a nice wander around the campsite, get involved in some of the on-site activities, things like that, because you've just had a fairly full-on expedition. So make sure you're looking after yourselves as well. That's what those activities look like. No surprises there. Evening activities. So phase 2 has some parties, and this is what I was talking about with the themes. As I said, they love a dress-up. They love a theme. So if you love a theme and a dress-up, like I do, get some ideas flowing now, grab some things from home. You might have an opportunity to grab some stuff from an op shop maybe when you're over there to complete the look. You know, start thinking about it. Those are the themes there. But yeah, keep it in the back of your mind. Getting to know your venture unit. So Facebook groups have been established for each unit. You can request to join yourself via that link. And unit leaders should be in contact already, but if they're not, they will do so shortly. Okay, so that's to ask all wonderful things about venture and expeditions, etc. All right, we're leaving. The 11th of January, you're back with the Australians. We pack up in Kaiwaka and we move out to Rotorua. Okay, this is when one of your included day activities happens. So one of the 4 there. And they were already booked through the post-day activity options via the contingent activities tab on your application. If you haven't selected one, you've been allocated to one. So again, nothing too surprising there. You've seen all of those. Hopefully you've booked the ones you want. And we've obviously got those, either the Zorbing or the Redwoods Tree Walk, which is stunning. So you'll really enjoy those activities. Again, now, we're back on post-day and waivers. So remember, these are the Australian waivers through the contingent activities portal. You need to have these in. And we need you to upload your form. It's not good enough for you to go, just send us the PDF saying, oh, I can't upload it. Because imagine if all 570 people did that. You've got to do it yourselves, guys. And if you're having issues, you need to let us know. But really, it's on you. Okay? Submit any outstanding waivers tonight, please. We're getting very close to just locking it off. And if they're not done and they're not right, too bad. You've had months to do it. You should be, yep. Some months ago, yep. Or repeatedly since. In this case, yes, no news is good news. That was just a question around if you haven't received any notification around waivers, whether they're wrong or uploaded incorrectly, then you should be safe.
As long as you've been checking your emails.
Yeah, as long as you've been checking your emails, because that's our main way of communicating with you. All right, post-stay accommodation. This is Keswick, which is just outside of Rotorua, right, just there. So we're still on the North Island. This is where not everyone will have a bed. Because of the size of the contingent, and we all wanted everyone on site, some people have been allocated to camp, and some people will have an allocated spot on the floor in an auditorium or a conference room. It's just the breaks, guys. We're a contingent, we want to camp together. This is what has to happen. Over to you, boss.
Yeah, thanks. I get this bit. No, it's all good. The good news is there'll be no surprises coming up. I'm sure you'll be most familiar with these rules. Before I start on the super serious bit, so for parents, venturers are to take responsibilities for their own actions. At the venture, there will be a unit of approximately 8 to 10 youth and 1 adult leader. And during the pre and post tour, that's the Australian bits, the ratio will be about 18 or 19 youth and a couple of Australian leaders. During the pre and post tour, and through the whole time, the leaders are there to support the venturers. There are leaders at most activities, but leaders will not be supervising all venturers at every minute of the day. Venturers, for example, on our pre-tour in Queenstown or a post-stay in Rotorua, if the venturer decides to go into town to grab a cheeky snack or buy some souvenirs for their lovely parents, then there won't be a leader trailing around the whole time. So if any parent has any concerns about their venturer not being supervised at every minute of the day, then I suggest they come and chat to myself or Lisa after. Like we said, leaders avail of most activities on all expeditions and on and off-site activities. Some pre and post activities are run by external providers, and again, like in Queenstown, you might have selected parasailing. Well, the venturer is required to get out of the accommodation, walk down into town, walk to the jetty for their 10 o'clock session, say, "Hi, I'm Mike, I'm here for the 10 o'clock," and they'll jump on the boat and undertake that activity. The chances are there'll be no leaders doing that activity. All right, pre and post tour, we're using a scanning system to ensure we keep track of everyone. It's not simply good enough for us to say, well, we saw that Mike on day one, we presume he's here somewhere. We have a duty of care and we take that very seriously. So there'll be a scan in and scan out system on both our pre and post tour sites and when we're getting on and off buses. And so if you wanted to head into Rotorua for that cheeky snack and that souvenir for mum and dad, you'd scan onto that bus, you'd do your activity, and when you come back into camp, you'd scan back on site. And if you don't scan back on site, we will come looking. And the first place we'll come looking is your unit meeting that night. And if you're not there, the second place we'll come looking for your accommodation. Okay, so it's really important, as Lisa mentioned before, that you're staying in the room that we've allocated you for a number of reasons. And it's really, really important that you take that scanning system seriously. Find you, we are going to be super, super grumpy, okay? So we mentioned the unit meetings every night. As a general rule, whilst I don't expect the unit leaders to remember in fine detail what every single one of their venturers are doing, we are encouraging venturers and leaders to chat and say, oh, I'm going into town tomorrow, oh, I'm doing the jet boating activity tomorrow, I'm doing this. So as a general rule, the leader has an understanding of where their venturers are going every day. All right, I'll just let you have a bit of a read of that. Oh, that's not going to work. All right, this is the good bit. Again, no surprises here, no surprises at all. So every single leader and venturer should know the Scout Promise and Law. Every single leader and venturer has signed the youth or adult terms and conditions and their parents if appropriate. And the contingent will take breaches of the Scout Promise and Law and the contingent terms and conditions very, very seriously. Okay? So it's fair to say that Lisa and I are super, super big on personal responsibility. We believe in the notion that venturers is youth-led, adult-supported. And we know that means that we don't treat venturers like they're cubs. They've earned the responsibility and the respect that they can go out and do things on their own. We're really strong on that. We also know that every single venturer has those terms and conditions signed by themselves, signed by their parents. And every single person going on this trip has 2 references who have endorsed their application, as well as 3 referees who have endorsed their application, as well as the Chief Commissioner of this state. So everybody is very, very clear that you have our full support. You have lots of support. You have lots of people saying you are going to be a fantastic representative of Scouts Australia. We know you understand the Scout Promise and Law, and we know you understand the contingent terms and conditions. There's nothing scary in there at all. I promise you, nothing scary. It's all common sense stuff. But what that means is that if some of the rules are broken, there will be no second chances. There's no black and white. This is not an airy-fairy kindergarten 3 strikes and you're out. Oh, let me explain it to you one more time. You don't need that. You guys don't need that. This is very, very, very simple stuff. We trust you understand that. If you think you have a problem understanding that, come and chat to Lisa and I after the presentation. Should, for any reason, you got a venturer be sent home, they will need to pay their airfares and they will need to pay the airfares of their escort. Okay? And a report will be sent to the Chief Commissioner of the state, and in Victoria, any venturer removed from an event will be followed up with an immediate 3-month suspension from scouting. Okay? So this sounds super serious, and it is super serious, but I'm not concerned because I know you guys will understand this, and these are super easy rules to follow. Okay? So, those rules again. Oh, I can do that. Guys, be respectful, do what is right, believe in myself. Okay? So they're not super scary. We know you understand. We know you get it. But please, make no mistakes. And those rules in finer detail. All right, this is again like most other Scout and Adventure camps you'll have been on. In fact, all other. They might not just call it like this. So, drugs and alcohol. That's super obvious, guys. Full stop. No exceptions. The leaders can't have a cheeky pint on their half day off. Everyone is dry for the whole time, including myself and Lisa, from the 27th of January all the way through the 15th. Leaders, adults, everybody. Discrimination, guys. Lisa and I are super big on having an inclusive contingent. We represent Scouts Australia and we represent a diverse association. So if you have a particular problem with a minority group or somebody who might think differently to you, I would suggest the venture is not the appropriate time to be bringing up that intolerance. That we will not tolerate bullying of any kind. Full stop. And lastly, this is a pretty easy one, no sex for anyone. Full stop. Okay, so Dad's rules. Pretty standard for all Scout and Venturer camps. No surprises there, super easy to follow. But, like I said, should there be any issues with anything on that page, you will probably find yourself on a plane home very swiftly. All right. Some of the other things which might not be so obvious, but we want to make sure you guys all understand. There are to be no energy drinks. Apart from the fact they're not good for you, they're not really conducive to getting great night's sleep. Okay, guys, this is a massive event. For those doing the pre-tour, it's just under 3 weeks. And we have a duty of care, not only to get you to the venture in one piece, slept, ready to rock, to undertake your fantastic expedition fit and healthy, but also to get you to the end of the trip fit and healthy. Okay, we don't want to just make it. Okay, we want to enjoy the whole trip. And Red Bull V, whatever you want to call it, is not going to help you through that process. Okay, so they are banned. Full stop. No dose, no prescription medication that's not yours. I don't even know why we have to say that, but people break those rules, so apparently we do. And guys, if it's not okay in Australia, it's not okay in New Zealand. New Zealand is a very similar country in many ways. However, it is a foreign country. They do have different laws. They do have different customs and traditions. However, we will not tolerate, oh, well, it's not illegal here, or some other excuse. If it's not okay in Australia, and you guys know what's not okay, then it's not okay in New Zealand. I won't have it wasn't in subclause 3 of the contingent terms and conditions that I couldn't do this. I'm pretty sure it's probably covered by be respectful, do what is right. We trust you guys understand that. All right, curfew. So again, we have a duty of care to deliver you to the venture and also back to your parents at the end of the event in one piece. For that reason, as much as we're going to have as much fun as VG and AG and all those awesome venture camps in Victoria, there is going to be a curfew. You do need to get some sleep, okay? So typically, for pre and post, that will be 9 p.m. back on site and 10 p.m. in your room doing a really good impersonation of sleeping, okay? Really good impersonation. There will be some exceptions during the venture, for example, New Year's Eve and maybe some of the themed nights where there's bands, etc. But remember, guys, this is not VG or AG, it's a 3-week marathon, okay? You need to be looking after yourselves, you need to be eating well, you need to be drinking lots of water, and you need to be getting some sleep. And if you need more sleep, I'm going to hand over to Sharon very shortly, but if you need more sleep, you guys are, again, responsible for yourselves. You can say, I'm really tired in the afternoon, I'm going to go for a sleep. And we'll go, great idea, awesome. All right, so, without further ado, this is. Can I introduce Sharon?
Oh, I was less grey then, fantastic.
Yeah, and Rod. So Sharon, we are super. When I took over the job of contingent leader for this event, someone gave me some advice. You want Sharon. And I've got to know Sharon a bit better in the last 2 years, and Sharon's the best. and she's supported by Rod, and we're super stoked to have both on board. So I'm going to hand over.
Fantastic. All right, so most of you are probably know Rob and I, because we do lots of so for us, our team for pre and post, so you know that wasn't part. Rob and I are running up the team, but we're also very lucky to have paramedics, nurses, and a doctor on board. So we'll have all of those medical side of things covered. So if you have any issues, or you're not sure about something, come and see us. All right? We're there to assist you first. Your well-being is the most important thing to us. Whether you're questioning what's happening around you, or whether you've seen something and you're a bit concerned, come and see us. We'll be tapping you on the shoulder, having chats. We're going to be there. We're 24/7. Come and see us. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're knocking at our window and we'll go, hi, what can we do for you? We're there for
Remember,
you.
the first 3 days we'll be saying, hey, what can we do for you? After that, we'll get grumpy and grumpy.
All right. So we have the other team members around us, but your unit leaders are there to support you. Go to them first, or come and see us. If you have a problem with the unit leader, come and see us. If you have a problem with us, go and see Rick, because we don't really want to know. All right. Okay, I think we can move on now. What have you got? You're supposed to be my assistant. Gorgeous as he is. All right. Okay, so when we hit New Zealand, best part as when New Zealand venture, when they take control, is Rod and I are actually a part of their team. So we're looking after the Aussie bit, and then we become a part of the New Zealand team. So on board, we are in a little country town in New Zealand, but they have set up a full medical centre. So at that medical centre, we'll have doctors, nurses, paramedics. One of our paramedics will be joining them, psychologists, and psychiatrists. Not that we want that. That's probably all for us leaders going, oh my God, I've just spent a week with this person. Yeah, all right? There are people there to help you. Don't struggle. Don't hide in your tent because you don't want to tell anyone something's wrong. We're there to assist. If you have made a mistake, and God forbid, you know, Dad's rules got floating out of your head and you think, oh, I've done something, don't hide from it. Come and see Rod and I. We're there to support your well-being. So we will fix up that side of thing, the medical issue if there is one, or anything else that happens, we can fix that. We're there to hold your hand and support you through then talking to Rick and Lisa or the New Zealand team. That's what our role is, looking after your well-being. Okay. Again, look for your trusted people. Or if you're one of those people who have noticed that your mate is not doing so well, come and see us. It's okay to just to come and ask for advice. Even if it is, you know, that standard thing. Oh, a friend of mine, well, they kind of did this, but I'm not really sure. Yeah, I need some help. Come and see us. That's what we're there for. Right, look after yourself and each other. All right? You're going to have some low moments. We're there for a very long time, a marathon. You cannot be on a high the whole time. If you are, we've got some problems. I'll be questioning where your energy drinks are. Okay? All right, come and see us. Standard stuff that you would do for long trips or hikes even. Lots of water. New Zealand is a beautiful place, but you're going to get hot. The UV rays over there are extraordinary. You're going to need sunscreen. Really good sunscreen. Last time we had a poor kid who was so burnt, you know, the blisters on him were he fell asleep in the sun. His mate forgot to wake him. Great mate. All right? Think about your mates. All right? Wear hats. I know they're dorky, but caps don't cover your head. They don't cover your ears. You know? Make it fabulous. Wear weird hats. I do.
Really do need to drink a lot anyway. You're doing a lot of high energy activities. You're always on the go. So you've got to remember to have that water bottle with you and take those constant sips. Okay, you've got to have a minimum of 1 litre of water a day. Minimum. So that means you need to remind yourself to drink sometimes when you get this overcast weather.
Yep. And by the time Sharon's got past the first hour on a bus, it's kind of like, oh, I don't feel so good. All right, make sure you have your meds. And that's for any medication. This trip is not the time to come off medication. If you are on ADHD medication, if you are on high blood pressure tablet, anything, do not stop taking them and thinking, I'm going on a holiday. I don't need them. No. Yes, this is a trip. It's a high adrenaline, fast-paced, fantastic marathon of a trip. So please do not stop taking your medication. If you run out of meds or you have a situation, bring the script with you. We may be able to fix that up. As I said, we have a doctor with us as well. We are happy to go and source some medications for you. All right. If there is an incident, as Rick said before, okay, if we have an incident and your mate has fallen over and hurt themselves at home, first thing we're going to do, he's hurt himself, I'm going to go click, 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 and post. Yes, I got the best photograph ever of, what's going on. Don't. All your families here in the audience are going to go, what have you done? My child's broken. They don't need to know that, because especially when we can turn around in an hour's time and say, they've got a grazed knee, they're fine. Okay? Do not post things about incidences. If you are feeling homesick, we're mum and dad. We fight like mum and dad.
So,
Hi.
you know when you get on your Facebook page and you wake up and you go, feeling sad, feeling lonely, feeling depressed, feeling abandoned, come and tell us.
Yeah.
Don't post it because we're your Facebook while you're away.
Yeah?
Right? Seriously.
Come through. Everything comes through us.
Everyone worries about you when you do that, and everyone
Yeah.
hits your Facebook page and says, oh, what's going on? What's the problem? What's happening?
Yeah.
That's what we do. We're live. Much
Yeah.
more fun.
Your family does not need to know that I am feeling miserable because I had to wait an hour for my fur burger in New Zealand. Okay? You'll understand that when you get there. You'll want to wait an hour for your fur burger. But we're the ones you come and tell. If your mates are feeling a little bit low, before you post, because that's what we do. Right throughout the day, we've gotten used to posting. I'm feeling happy, sad, whatever it is. Don't post. Talk. That's what we're here for. All right? Yep. Is that it? Do I get to stop talking? Oh, social media. That's me. That's it. It leads beautifully into social media. All right. We are hanging around at the end. So if you haven't already put up some information around your medical, whether that is physical or emotional support that you need, come and see us. Rod and I are going to be over in the table over there. Come and have a little chat. We'll work out what extra information we need. Please, if you are concerned about yourself or you are having, even now, not sure whether to list your medication or medical condition, tell us. Tell your expeditions. If they do not know and do not have the information, they cannot help you. Okay? All good? All info. Looking forward to see you in a few weeks. Cool.
Alrighty. So that last slide from the welfare team leads nicely onto social media. So, and this applies to everyone in the room. The contingent team will not be responding to messages or comments via our Facebook page. This is simply because we've got better things to do. It's not the place to contact us with grievances or concerns. If you are concerned for your youth member, please use the hotline and get in touch with us. We will still monitor the Facebook page. We're not going to abandon it completely, and we're going to endeavour to post at least once a day with lots of photos. And as Shaz said, in the event that something does happen, I don't want to see photos of a broken arm on Snapchat or Instagram or whatever it is that is invented that I don't know about yet. So please, venturers, leaders, don't put it on social media. Wait until everyone's sorted out. Wait until they're happy. Wait till we've contacted home so you don't upset everybody. Make sure you turn your phone to silent. So please, in the event of any incident, please don't contact home. That's Rick and my job. please don't post about it on social media. As I said, Facebook will still be running. Our Facebook group will still be page will still be running, but it won't be as active or responsive. Okay, if you do need to get in touch with us, that's what the contingent hotline is for. Speaking of the contingent hotline, it's going to be plastered a few places. It was in the newsletter, in number 4 newsletter. It's on the final page of this presentation, so it'll come up at the end and you can take a photo or pop it in your phone straight away, whatever happens, whatever's the easiest. And then it'll also be in the final email with all the manuals and bits and pieces as well. It's also on your ID tags, those of you who are travelling with us. So if you are in town and need a hand, you can contact us via the hotline. Okay? Parents, please only call if it's urgent. There's a good chance we're not going to be standing right next to your venturer, and they might be on an activity. It might take us a little while to track them down or for them to come back from wherever it is they are, but we will get back to you. So please don't panic. We will get back to you. We will tell your venturer. We'll pop them on the line, and the things will be sorted out. If you can't get us the first try, please leave us a message and we will respond. Sometimes we might be dealing with something else or whatever the situation is, but the phone will always be with a member of the CMT. 24/7 while we're over there. Won't always be Rick or myself, but a member of the team will have the phone. And if you're calling us in the middle of the night, we might not, depending on how deeply sleeping we are, we might not get the first ring, so call us, leave a message, we will get back to you, okay? Particularly in the Milford Sound activity, reception's really sketchy, so we're taking satellite phones, so we will be in contact all the time. And if for some reason in New Zealand the mobile network goes down, we've still got the satellite phone, so we still can make contact with home and vice versa, okay? Communication, so we touched on the Facebook pages. We will be, our page, the 14th New Zealand Venture Australian Contingent Facebook page, will still be monitored. But the other one you can keep an eye on is the Illuminate 2019 Facebook page. So that's the one that's run by the Kiwis. They will also be sharing photos and things, so keep your eye on those two, and we'll go from there. Venture site. So again, we've covered this. Mobile reception up there is a bit patchy, but we definitely wouldn't recommend international roaming. It's pretty expensive. You might be able to get a good deal with your carrier, so your Telstra or your Vodafone or whoever. But your Australian number may not work in New Zealand. You need to have a chat with your provider and see what the best deal is. And again, worth noting, most expeditions don't have mobile coverage. So just keep that in mind. And parents, no news is good news. If we're not calling you every day to talk about your venture, that's because they're having an amazing time, okay? So just touching on that, if you must have a mobile phone with you, venturers, we would recommend a local SIM number, a SIM card, and your phone needs to be unlocked. Most phones are these days, but again, just check with your provider, and yeah, grab a SIM in country if you really feel the need to. Worth making a note as well, you're absolutely allowed to contact home. That's not to say don't. It's just you don't want to be on your phone for 3 weeks. That's not what you paid all the money for. You want to be out engaging and interacting and having a great time. So definitely touch base, but just keep in mind how much you're using and what you might be missing out on while you're sitting on your phone. Okay? Money. So we've been caught out by this. Australian EFTPOS cards do not work in New Zealand EFTPOS machines. Top tip. You can withdraw New Zealand cash with them though from ATMs, but a Visa or MasterCard debit style card is the way to go. So that's either through your bank or credit union or whatever, or Australia Post has a great travel money card as well. So those are the things we'd recommend. Have a chat to your bank or whoever you get your funds from, and work that one out there. We're saying roughly $10 a day as a guide. Obviously, most of your activities and certainly all your accommodation and meals are included, so you shouldn't have too much you need to spend on. There is the possibility of adding more phase 2 activities, potentially, while you're there, but you need to just factor that in. And then if you want as Rick said, you might want to get a Ferg burger in Queenstown or pop into Rotorua for just a snack or something like that, ice cream, whatever. But also gifts for your wonderful loved ones who help you get to New Zealand. It's a really good idea. All right, safety and security. So the Venture and Australian contingent teams take no responsibility for any lost items. We've covered it off today, guys. You're all adults. We're treating you like adults, and adults can look after their stuff, okay? You're responsible for your own possessions. Make sure everything's labelled, keep an eye on it, pack it away when you're not using it, all those useful tips. And just a note on the electronic devices and personal cash, keep an eye on it, okay? Again, if you can't afford to lose it, don't bring it. So that goes for Swish cameras, it goes for smartphones, whatever has a significant monetary value or even a significant personal value to you, I would recommend leaving it home, okay? Insurance. So every member of the contingent is covered by travel insurance. The details of that can be found in the Travel Details tab of your applications. So just tap on the column on the left-hand side, Travel Details, and then there's some PDFs that you can have a read through. As a general rule, loss of expensive items aren't covered. So again, keep that in mind with what you're planning on bringing with you. All right.
Fantastic. And just while we're on travel insurance, you should have all received a travel insurance update from myself about a week ago in regards to the arrangements for skydiving. So please make sure you have a read of that email. All right, so the exciting stuff. So you've all got your fancy new roller bags, and I must admit, we were told they're 90 litres. They look pretty big. But the bottom line is, your luggage limit is 20 kilos. And remember, you need to bring back your tent, and so you will need to allow whatever the weight of your tent is, 3.4 or 4.2 kilos if you bought a contingent tent, and you need to allow room for it. So if you're heading over with a bulging bag that's 20 kilos, you're in trouble, okay? Remember, you've got a carry-on luggage limit of 7 kilos, and anybody who has excess baggage can pay for it themselves, all right? It's not in our budget, unfortunately, okay? So everything must fit in that bag, with the exception of hike packs, which we've already covered off. Okay, so some things aren't meant to travel, guys. Most of you will be super experienced travellers or experienced travellers. Some of you may never have left the state, but we're going to cover off on this just so there's no surprises. Okay, so liquid limits on international flights are 100 ml, and we recommend liquids packed into your undercarriage baggage, okay? Definitely, and this is pretty obvious, but again, if you've got your first aid kit, pack that in undercarriage. No knives. You don't need it. If you need to get fuel for your expedition, arrange that with the Kiwis, okay? Get in touch with the unit leader. Have that conversation. Nobody should be trying to bring across methylated spirits or shellite or anything like that for their stove or gas canisters. And I don't know why, again, we have to say this. It probably means that somebody once brought one of these, and so it's been added to the list. No whips, no fireworks, no fire twirling equipment, please. These things weren't meant to travel, okay? A few tips. As you'll see, the pile of bags, even unpacked, is quite massive, and that's just the Victorians. So you'll need to personalise your bag. We highly, highly recommend a piece of ribbon, several pieces of ribbon, names, colours, patches, whatever you can do to make your bag look individual. In a big pile or in a baggage carousel, you want to be able to identify your bag pretty quickly, okay? Please make sure you make full use of your carry-on luggage. You might want to carry some of your heavier items, things like hike boots you can wear on the plane. Apart from the fact that it makes it easy when you arrive off the plane and customs want to inspect your boots, you're wearing them, they are actually quite heavy. So again, that's something that can come out of your 20 kilos. All right, and wear your full scouting uniform, a bit like this. Trousers neat and tidy, international scarf, name bar, your full scout uniform, neat and tidy for every flight. Okay, so that's to, that's from, and if you're on pre-tour, that's from Queenstown to Auckland. All right, a few more tips. This is like I tell my scouts when we used to go hiking. Don't strap anything on the outside of your bag, you look like an amateur. And most importantly, you're likely to lose it. You're likely to get it torn, broken, lost, trashed. Everything fits in the bag. Again, if it doesn't fit, you've packed too much. Don't forget your day pack. Everyone will probably need a day pack. We recommend it for your water bottle, which will go through the security gate empty, and you can fill it up on the other side of security at the bathrooms there. And parents, please don't pack your venturers' bags. If there's anything I hope everybody has learnt from today, it is the contingent treats your venturers like they're adults. We give them that respect, and they should earn that respect. Apart from the fact that they will sign a form saying they know the contents of the bag and they pack the bag, venturers don't need parents to pack their bags. Okay, medications. We recommend you carry your medications, obviously in their original packaging, but also with your carry-on luggage. Occasionally bags do get lost, and if you've got your medication in your checked-in baggage that for some reason went via South America, then you might not have medication for a couple of days. So please, please, please bring enough medication for a couple of days in your carry-on baggage with you. All right, so your travel itinerary. Around probably 2 months ago now, you should have all received a printed A4 piece of paper, and in that envelope was also included a badge that looked like that. Okay, if you haven't received that travel itinerary, and if you put your hand up and say you didn't, but you've got a badge on your shirt, I won't believe you. But if you didn't include that, get that travel itinerary, you need to let one of our team members know ASAP, and we'll get that out to you. All right, passports. I don't want a hands up of who hasn't got their passport because I don't really want to be scared. But basically, if you don't have your passport now, you're really, really gambling with whether you're coming to the New Zealand venture. Okay, so passports are the venturer's responsibility travelling to and from New Zealand. Okay, one of the other reasons we like to travel in full Scout uniform is they have this handy passport-sized pocket with a security button on it. Okay, if you're anything like me, you'll lose stuff. But don't lose your passport, all right? Put your passport, after you've been through security, you scan your passport, all that stuff we'll talk about in a second. You put it straight in the pocket, you do the button up, happy days. If you put it in your back pocket, you'll sit down, it'll be uncomfortable, you'll put it in the seat in front of you on the plane, and then, well, we know what happens there, okay? When you arrive in New Zealand, everyone is required to hand their passports in, okay? We've seen too many things lost, and normally we go, yeah, we don't care, you lost it. You were at the O-Day, we don't care. But we don't want you to lose your passport, so everyone is required to hand in their passports on arrival in New Zealand so we can store them safely for the duration of the trip. You will receive them back as you board the bus on the way to the airport, with the exception of independent travellers. All right, getting to New Zealand, I really should get our amazing Koozie who's booked all these flights over here, but I won't. I can probably talk about this. Okay, guys, so the super important thing, and you will have all received these details in the mail, is that as you can see, it's a super early start. We apologise for that, but that's the way it is. Big group check-ins for flights are super stressful, and we need to arrive 3 hours early. Okay, so those doing pre-tour, departing on the 27th, arriving at either 4:30 or 6:35. Okay, and that's a significant number, about 160 of you. The non-pre-tour group arriving at Melbourne Airport about 6:30, and that's also a pretty large number of you. Okay, so please, 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 and this goes for all travel days, whether it's buses or planes or automobiles, whatever they're called, pay attention. Travel days are super stressful for us, super stressful. We've got 53 different flights getting us in and out of New Zealand. We've got 12 buses. We've got dozens and dozens and dozens of different activities. Everyone needs to be in different places at different times. We will have given you all those instructions and plenty of time to spare. Most likely printed on a nice clean piece of paper. Please make sure you are where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be, with whatever you're supposed to have. Okay? Because if one person stuffs it up, then there can be a catastrophic flow-on effect. Okay? We can't be holding planes or buses or anything for people who can't follow instructions. Okay? You guys are all responsible. So please make sure you just, especially around those travel days, you're super, super conservative with your times. Make sure you allow for cross-town traffic. Make sure you allow for whatever it is. 3 hours early, know where you're supposed to be, know what you're supposed to have, and please follow instructions, okay? If you didn't follow your instructions and you missed your flight, well, give us a buzz. It's probably, well, we'll help you out, but unfortunately, you are going to have to pay for another airfare. That's not within my generosity. But please do give us a call, and we'll do our best to support you to make sure you can catch up with us. All right, what if you're sick on leaving day? Well, you're going to get a lot more sympathy than the first case, but please contact myself on the contingent hotline. Please note that we will be in the air on the 26th of December. Now, these details, you don't need to take them down now. This information will all be in a final email that you guys will receive about 10 days before the event, or maybe a bit closer to the event, okay? But please keep in mind, we're going to be in the air a little bit on the 26th of December, so if you need to get hold of us because somebody is sick or whatever, just send us a text message if it's from one of those times. Okay, and touch base with us. We will get our travel guru to assist you, and we'll do our best to help you catch up with us at some point on a case-by-case basis. All right, so what to do on departure day, guys? So we're going to step through the process of us getting to New Zealand. Again, arrive at your designated location on time. 3 hours for international flights. So that's everyone in this room, international flights. Nobody here. Oh, no, it's not. There's some going via Sydney, aren't there?
So the guys who are on the first flight, they're actually going via Sydney. So if you're pre-tour and you're flying to Sydney, so you need to be at the airport 2 hours beforehand because it's domestic.
And I'm going to hand over to Lisa because I'm talking on her bit.
Yes, so as we've covered off briefly, arrive at your designated location on time. So that's 3 hours before international flights and 2 before a domestic, okay? Factor in the travel time. Be prepared. That's what we do. You're going to meet up with your travel coordinator. You'll be given their details prior to departure, and you'll follow their instructions once you're there. You will then get an ID tag that you will wear around your neck at all times, unless showering or sleeping, but it should be around your neck. When you're at the airport, and just generally, don't leave any of your baggage unattended. It's just, yeah, that's a big headache we don't want to have to deal with. Okay, outgoing passport control. So the first thing you'll do once you go through the gates into the international terminal, into the international departures, is you'll pull out any liquids over 100 ml. Water bottles, whether you're taking, I don't know why you need sunscreen or toothpaste, but if that's in your carry-on for some reason, make sure it's under 100 ml. Water bottles, make sure they're empty, and then you can fill them up once you're through security, okay? Make sure there's nothing in your pockets, and take off your belts. You might need to take off your shoes depending on what the security guys say, but just follow their instructions. Australian passport holders, you'll line up behind a smart gate. You'll see a picture of one of those a little bit further on. Really easy. Picture page of your passport into the machine, and then you follow the instructions. Not scary. No duty free at all. Walk through, blinkers on. Waiting for the plane. So once you've gone through security and immigration, we're going to go straight to the gate lounge. You're going to stay with your travel coordinator. You're going to stick with your group. You're going to stay near the gate lounge, and you're going to ask to head off, just to give the travel coordinator a heads up that just going to the loo, just going to grab a snack or a magazine or whatever it is. Once you've done that thing, you're going to come back to the gate, okay? Don't roam around. We don't want someone to, who's peckish at 6 a.m. to go and have a steak at the steakhouse that's just opened and miss them. Stay at the gate. So on the plane, and some of you guys will be across this, but for some of you, we're just going to give you a bit of a heads up. Take your assigned seat that you'll have on your ticket. Stay seated with your seatbelt on unless you really need to get up. Don't move around unnecessarily, around the cabin unnecessarily. You'll get what's called an arrival card on the plane into New Zealand. You just need to complete that honestly. They're pretty simple questions, but if you're unsure or you need to ask a question, check with the flight attendants, check with your leaders. They'll be able to help you. Most of the flights have in-flight entertainment, so you can catch up on TV shows or movies or whatever it is. But the big thing to remember here is that you're all in uniform. You're going to stand out, so P's and Q's go a long way. You're an ambassador for Australia, you're representing Australia, not everyone gets that privilege. So remember, please, thank you, all that kind of stuff. So this is what we were talking about before. This is a smart gate. You're going to stick together as a group. Queenstown and Auckland have these gates, as well as coming back into Australia, okay? You might, instead of going through the gate with your passport, you might be diverted to a desk with an officer. It's okay, happens from time to time. You're not in trouble. They're not going to lock you up. They're just doing it manually, okay? So answer their questions truthfully. Your leaders will be hovering around as well, making sure that if you do need a hand, they're right there. But just don't panic. Answer their questions truthfully, and you'll be moved on your merry way. Once you're through customs, you'll collect your bag. Make sure it's your bag because they're all orange and black and they all look the same, so make sure it's yours. And then that card, you will be given, make sure it's all truthful. Any questions asked for later. But you will give that card to an officer in the airport. They will check off what you've got there. And if you're in doubt, just declare it. Or if you're really not sure and your leader can't help you, just leave it blank and talk to them about it. Okay? They'll be able to help you. They're super friendly unless you do the wrong thing. Okay? So if you're asking for the help, they'll help you out. On the other side, you're in New Zealand. Woohoo! You'll be transported to your accommodation. You'll hand your passport in to us for safekeeping, and then you will meet your new mates. Okay? Travelling home, we kind of do the same thing again, but in reverse. So we all depart on the 15th of January. Most of the flights are getting in afternoon, evening, but do check your individual itineraries to make sure of that detail. And again, no duty free. Mum and Dad haven't seen you for 3 weeks. They don't want to be standing on the other side of the doors waiting because you want a Toblerone. What to wear when travelling? You are wearing your Venture uniform, which you should be in today. So your shirt with your Australian scarf, your name badge, your contingent badge, and you can wear pants of any colour, sensible, any colour, as long as they are neat and tidy. So I don't want to see hot pink board pants or board shorts or tracksuit pants. That's not sensible. I don't want to see ripped jeans. I don't want to see dirty things. All right? Sensible pants. Okay? Contingent shirt. Moving me on a bit quick. Your contingent shirt you can wear anytime you like, but we will be wearing it when we're on the buses on the way down from Kaiwaka. Okay? And then your ID card, always, always, always. Not only does it tell you lots of information about your days and your activities, it also is a really easy way for us to work out whether someone should or shouldn't be on site. If they're not wearing a lanyard, they shouldn't be there. Okay? Cool. Independent travel, no further requests will be approved. Okay? Just so we're clear. Then back to you, boss.
Fantastic. Gear swapping, so if you guys have shirts or jackets that aren't the right size, we highly encourage you to mill around afterwards, yell and shout for people who might have the right size for you, do a bit of swapping. There will be a small number of spares available, and they'll be available on the evening of the 31st when we arrive into Kaiwaka. And people who want to swap their size to a size that suits will be given priority, okay? After the evening of the 31st, we'll be selling everything off, okay? So if after today you can't find something that fits you, come and see us on the evening of the 31st in Kaiwaka at our admin office. Okay, your badges are all sorted there. If some of you guys missed out on badges, come and talk to us. We're relying on you to be honest, please. If you haven't been in contact with Libby, the finance manager, everyone should have paid about 10 days ago. Okay, so we need everyone's bills paid, please. So do that when you get home tonight. Okay, paid in full, everything done. All right, guys. The other things. From now on, if you hadn't got this theme, please check your inboxes regularly. Please be checking your spam filters. If things come to us, we don't have time to be posting them off. It takes us all day to pack 570 envelopes. Okay, so check your inbox regularly. If we ask you for some information, please respond quickly, okay? We need to get things wrapped up. If you're late for the airport, we will not wait. Okay, so check your online application, what Shaz was saying, check your parents next of kin, check all your details, medical, everything there is sorted out. Need your passport? Well, okay, let's move on. Okay, if you haven't completed your Smart Traveller registration, you will have received a, I don't know if it was an angry email, we're going to call it an angry email from Hugh a couple of days ago. Smart Traveller registrations need to be completed and logged into your registration. Okay, I caught up with the Australian Consul General in Auckland a couple of months ago, and those guys are super, super excited about our trip. They're very supportive. In the unlikely event that we need their assistance, they've offered us their full assistance, but they have stressed the importance of Smart Traveller, and so please make sure you've done that process. There was an email from Hugh you got months ago, Hugh at NZV2019.com, search for that, with all the info on how to complete your Smart Traveller. Make sure you made your last payments and return your waiver forms or indemnity forms. Please, 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 please.
Emergency contacts, usually that's your family at home, that's fantastic. Except while you're on holidays, they're on holidays. Then it's no good to us because we can't contact them because they're up bush. Think about who is available whilst you are away. Make them the emergency contact, not just your family at home if they're going on holidays. We've had that before where we haven't been able to get a hold of anyone, haven't we, Rick?
We have.
We have. Yeah. So think about who you're putting in as your emergency contact.
No good if they're sunning themselves in Vanuatu.
Cabbage, one of the national venture leaders from Scout New Zealand. Hope you're really looking forward to Illuminate Venture 2019. I know I am. We're really excited to have you guys coming over. In total, there should be about 900 of you guys, including a bunch of venturers from all around other parts of the world as well, and of course our guys from New Zealand. We're really looking forward to, like I said, we're looking forward to having you guys in Kaiwaka. It's a bunch of activities planned. I know you guys have all got your expedition sorted. Hopefully you're getting your phase 2 activities booked and you're ready to go. Looking forward to seeing you. See you soon. Bye.
Okay, just a couple more slides, and I'm going to put my state commissioner hat on. We all know Victorians are a proud bunch. Okay, but for this trip, we're not the Victorian contingent. We're part of the Australian contingent. Unlucky for you guys, I'm coming. So if I hear Victorians acting up, watch out. So please, 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 we are the Australian contingent. Use it as a great opportunity to meet friends from WA, from Queensland, South Australia. We've got Tasmanians coming. Okay? Use it as a great opportunity to learn something else about your own country. Don't get bogged down in state by state. We are one contingent. And as I said, if I hear Victorians acting up, I will be deeply disappointed and we might have a little chat. Not one you'll probably find pleasant. Okay? Very good.
And on that theme, guys, Australians, what's the word you used?
Are a proud bunch.
Are a proud bunch. And we are representing Scouts Australia. We are representing Australia. But when we head over to New Zealand, please remember that we're heading over to New Zealand to participate in an incredible international scouting experience. Okay, New Zealand is the most amazing place in the world. Okay, it's got this just beautiful scenery. Every turn is a postcard. It's true. If you've heard that marketing slogan, it's true. It's such a beautiful place. They've got a really, really amazing adventurous activities culture. Queenstown, Rotorua, just an awesome, awesome adventurous activities culture throughout the whole country. And they have this really, really, really proud, incredible Maori culture. Okay, and we've gone over there to meet Kiwi Scouts, to meet Scouts from Canada, to learn about this incredible country. We haven't gone over there to act like yobbos and chant Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. Okay, that will not be tolerated. At a sporting event, sure. But we must remember at their event we're guests in their country and we need to act like the Australian contingent, and a big contingent too, will be a significant part of the event. But we need to remember that we are a significant part of that event and we don't want to appear overbearing, obnoxious. Okay? So just keep that in mind, all right? Act with dignity, act with respect, and remember we are guests in their country and we are there to enjoy what will be an incredible event. So thanks guys for coming along. We hope you have an amazing Illuminate 2019.